Well, hello there, my friends. For a long time, I've been wanting to do some Barbarossa Decisive campaigns for you guys. This is a game that I absolutely love, and of course, it's got some RP elements for a strategy game where you actually have to decide what kind of general you're going to be. Now, you can play as the Russians or the Germans. In this case, for Barbarossa 41, I'm going to be playing as the Germans. I'm not exactly a fan of the Germans, obviously, but playing as them, I have no issue, but we're going to try to be sort of an anti-Nazi general, a bit like Rommel. There's a lot of political decisions in this game that you need to make. These decisions will affect how much supply you get, how the high command sees you, how you're treated in the game. Now, one thing we're going to do is there is this Geneva Convention mode, which basically, allows you to fight a clean war. But if we turn this off, we're going to get all sorts of morally obscure decisions like shooting prisoners, things like this. But I think it's absolutely necessary to have a good game experience here in Barbarossa. So we are going to turn off the Geneva Convention, of course. We are going to turn on the Fog of War. We keep that on. And we're going to jump in here, guys, and get started in Barbarossa Decisive campaigns. I hope you guys are ready for this. So, another thing about this game is we're going to be getting a lot of diaries from soldiers, things like this, diaries from generals. Now, I'm not going to read everything because if I did, I would be here all day. So, this is a pre-start turn. There's also some really good tutorials here to get you acquainted with the game. I wish I was the one doing the voiceover for these tutorials, but I think this actually happened way before I ever got to the company. Nonetheless, the guy who does them is great, and he definitely helped me understand the game. So, these are the counters, the unit counters, and basically what this allows us to see is our forces on the map. Duh. But at the same time, these unit counters can be switched to different things. So you can actually have NATO counters if you'd like. In this case, we are going with just regular unit counters. I like the way they look. I don't know how you guys feel about them. We can also get a ton of information about these units, about the generals leading them, but I'm going to show you guys that afterwards. So for now, we're just going to go ahead into our reputation here, and we've been summoned to Berlin. The Fuhrer has requested your presence in Berlin in order to agree upon strategy for Operation Barbarossa. Transport will be provided, and you are expected to be present and correct at the right chancellor at 10 hours. Sorry, I'm not used to military time here. On Monday morning. Delegating staff officers to present in lieu of yourself is not acceptable. The Fuhrer is busy, and a prompt arrival would be wise. So, we're going to go ahead and say that, demand military independence. I don't think we're not gonna survive very long if we do that. So we are going to go ahead and, agree with the Fuhrer. I mean, you've got to agree with the Fuhrer or else he ends up killing you. And of course here, the Eisenstruppe construction battalions are undersupplied. We can make a decision here to properly equip them, but it's going to cost us political points to do that. In this case, though, we are going to go ahead and pay those political points, and we're also going to gain a reputation with the generals for doing this. Now, we could select route AGN. This is basically advanced planning, but I'm not actually going to make any sort of decision there. We've also got what-if scenarios. So I've been in discussion with the Finnish Prime Minister Risto Risti, and he informs me that Finland is willing to sign a binding military alliance with us. And these are what-if scenarios in history. Strongly urge that we follow through, as this will ensure our Finnish allies launch an immediate offensive on Leningrad once our forces are within striking distance. The option ensures once either Luga or Narva have been captured, Finland will automatically agree to cross the Finn-Soviet border. I don't think I want Finland involved. And this basically is Romania, a reliable ally with support of the Iron Guard. I recommend he be fully involved in the planning and execution of the southern theater of Operation Barbarossa. He has informed me that the Romanian forces will be able to launch their offensive simultaneously with the rest of the Ostfront. This option will allow the force on the Romanian front to launch their offensive on the first turn, along with everybody else, because they usually have to wait a turn. I'm going to accept that with von Ribbentrop, so we'll keep these trusted allies, and we're probably going to increase our relation with von Ribbentrop, so why not? We'll do it this time. And now, of course, we end the turn. We've made some decisions. You don't have to make every decision if you don't want. I generally don't. And now we're going to turn it over to the Soviets for one turn. Just one turn, then it's coming back to us. So we've delegated 3 decisions. It's going to affect our relationship positively or negatively, but we'll find out pretty soon. Okay, guys, now it is the start of our turn. So, Once again, I told you guys about the possibility of these diaries. They're really great. They're really well done. And this guy, Hugo, is going to be writing this diary throughout the campaign. He's part of the 78th Infantry Division, but if the 78th Infantry Division is destroyed, Hugo is also destroyed, and the diary stops being written. But it's a really interesting look at the game, and I think it adds sort of an RP element, so if you guys want to pause there and read that, please do. Like I said, I can't read every single one of these, or I'd be here all day. So let's take a look at one of the neatest things in the game for me. First of all, the divisions. We do have some SS divisions here. This is the SS Motorized Division Totenkopf. Obviously, these guys are masters at attack, and we're going to start attacking with them pretty soon. But another fascinating thing are the relations. Now, these show our relations with other generals, with the Führer himself, and obviously the way this works, depending on how we deal with these guys, it's going to affect us positively or negatively, and could have some serious lasting consequences. In this case, it looks like it's too early, really, to know what's going on. But one thing I'm going to do with the Totenkopf division is I'm immediately going to attack this Soviet general area, this headquarters, led by Lieutenant General Sobanekov, and we're going to go ahead and launch an assault. So let's get this down. Start launching the assault here on these guys. And I'm going to use the SS division. They're very formidable fighters this early in the war. And let's go ahead and smash through. Oh yeah, the enemy retreated. Of course, the general retreated too. We can actually take a textual look here at how many we killed. So you can see 2,200 dead. We also killed 50 Soviet staff, 100 Soviet trucks destroyed, and we only lost 200 men. So all things considered, that was a pretty good attack for us. Now, guys, let me know if you prefer the textual look here, where we get to look at all the casualties, or if you prefer the graphic look like this. I prefer the graphic look personally. It's just a preference, but I also do occasionally like to see how many casualties we've caused. Now, one great thing about the SS divisions is that they're actually able to attack twice. Most divisions are not able to do this, so we're probably going to get another attack with this SS division. There we go, and that is the Motor Division Totenkopf. We'll bring in some more into the stack. We don't want the stack to get too high, so we'll probably just attack with these 3 units first. Let's go ahead. Good work, Männer. So already the Soviet tanks are really badly damaged, as you can imagine. We're going to keep moving forward. And we'll take the Totenkopf division and put him over here, just in case the enemy tries to do any counterattacks, things like this. I do want to move forward with our tanks, so we're going to grab this entire tank army and start hitting their tanks. Let's hope that we've got enough action points to actually be able to attack, and we certainly do. Let's go ahead and send everybody in here. Vorwärts! The enemy definitely retreated in an infantry and a tank division, but they're not that wounded. And actually, one of the goals here is going to be to get one of these tanks to cut off the rail line at Kaunas. So we're sending one guy through. Yes, it's a big risk, but this is Barbarossa after all, and that's exactly what we're trying to do. Another thing that's very important is keeping these generals away from the front lines, but close enough to our men that they can bring in supplies. And you can actually see some of these trucks over here. These are all bringing in supplies to our army. I'm going to take this tank division as well, by the way. And we will go, we'll support our attack. Why not? I don't think we're going to be able to hit this unit this turn because he just moved a bunch. But maybe we can. Oh, look at that. We got lucky. Let's go ahead and smash into this weakened Soviet unit. No prisoners, Männer. Good work. Okay. Now, of course, we'll move some more. Move our infantry up. We're just right now trying to break through the enemy lines under any circumstances and get to Kaunas sooner rather than later. 30th Infantry Division, and you can see sort of the information of they've got some anti-tank guns, 75mm ELGs. I'm not exactly sure what that is. 10 German 150mm. Don't know what SFH is. One of you grognards can probably tell me. But nonetheless, we're going to keep on attacking here, and I think we can pretty much force the Soviets back almost entirely. Very nice, guys. Good work, men. Now, we also want to keep each individual unit or division in their respective zones. You can see this red line. This isn't actually really a border per se. What this is it's separating the different generals and their army groups from other generals, just so they kind of know their place. They know where to go and where not to go. Now, I definitely want to destroy that railway, so we're going to move our men there. I might even move some more infantry units here. And you can move, stacks, or you can move individual units. I usually move stacks, but if I'm moving tanks, especially to take out rail lines, I will go ahead and just send them separately. They can usually handle themselves this early on in the war. Let's go ahead and attack. Alright, nice. So we got them to retreat, of course. And now the next thing I want to do is get one of our panzers to cut off the rail line once again, totally finishing off the rail line. These guys aren't going to get any support at Bialystok, and we need that, because the more men we have that are capable of fighting and taking land, and the less supplies the enemy has, well, the fewer men we're going to lose as well. So we're going to keep moving forward. Let's go ahead and launch an attack on this guy. Send in all of our men for this attack. Crush them, men up. Retreat. Let's see the textual. And it looks like the enemy, 2,000 dead. We lost 200. But, I've had much bigger battles than that. I've had battles where we've killed 16,000 of the enemy. But those are going to take a while to recreate. We're also going to move these guys forward. And we can actually keep on moving forward with some of these infantry. They still have movement points, so we might as well take advantage of that and keep on attacking. Let's take a look at this division. This looks interesting. Third time's the charm. And we're going to hit this cavalry division. So let's do that. Come on, men. You are going to go into the annals of history as victors. There we go. Nasty smash on the cavalry. They're going to retreat. It's looking beautiful for us. And we'll move this guy over here. I'm kind of putting him in a little bit of a scary situation, but I think he can handle himself. We're going to get a lot of attacks out of these units, so we just want to keep pushing, keep destroying that enemy. Now, eventually, they're retreating now, but eventually, they're going to start just being completely wiped out. So we definitely want to focus on the units that are already badly damaged, because I want to finish them off entirely. Now, I don't recommend going this high, so I'm actually going to keep one out of the fight. He doesn't really need to be there, and he could be used in another attack. Well, maybe not here, because technically speaking, we're already kind of at the border here with the enemy, and we can't move him again. So we've panicked one of the units, and that's a major victory. And if we look textually, look at that, 7,800 dead. Of course, we've destroyed a lot of mortars, field guns, howitzers. Just the amount of actual destruction you can get in this war is incredible. Very much like the real Eastern Front, and it's really amazing. Also, this game has some very interesting mods. Now, I need to learn to install them. I'm not great at installing mods, as many of you know. One of the mods is the Iran-Iraq War. I would love to play it. Of course, YouTube will be demonetizing that video, and probably this one too. But that being said, that's one mod I really want to play for you guys, and for us to essentially have fun with. Alright, let's go ahead. Apparently, we can't move any more of these guys forward, but let's hit this division here. Let's get the list going. Here we go. Good work, men. Enemy 6th Infantry. And, of course, they're going to run away pretty quickly. These guys are pretty much realizing that, resistance is futile, more or less. And it's probably in their best interest to just get the hell out of here as quickly as possible. Now, I'm going to do a very risky move here. I'm going to send a large army group over here. We don't get to attack this turn because we've already used up our movement points. Oh, actually, we do. Beautiful. So I think it's time to use these tanks, put them to good use. We're attacking with 3 tank divisions. And that's going to really hurt the enemy. Ooh, they actually managed to hold out and force one of our tanks to retreat. That is not good. We actually had a few men dead, and we lost a few tanks as well, and some half-tracks, so not the greatest thing in the world. No, actually, most of our tanks got away, but our Panzer IIIs, we lost 10, and we lost, 15 Panzer IIs. But Panzer IIs are garbage anyway, so who really cares? We're going to keep attacking that area, though. Want to make sure around Bialystok that we do eventually destroy them, so I am going to see if we can't get another attack here. Sorry, wrong area. Mine apologies. We can also move the Reich Guard forward. Now, this is another Das Reich division, another SS division. We really do want to get them into a position where they can start taking out these rail lines, but they're not in that position right now. So for now, we're just going to use our regular infantry to break through here, and eventually we'll bring in the Das Reich division to mop up, as it were. Here we go. Oh, we could have gotten that up to 400. Hold on. We can do major attack here. Let's go for it. Here we go, guys. Attack. 42nd Infantry is going to be in trouble. Oh, ho, 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 ho. Look at that. 4,800 dead, and we destroyed a ton of their equipment. Yeah, they're not going to be happy with that, but we, of course, are very happy with that. So we'll move forward, but we don't want to leave any sort of gaps in the line, so we'll move the Das Reich and the other divisions forward as well, and hopefully they get an attack here. Another attack would be magnificent. And yes, the Das Reich division can attack. Like I said, the SS divisions can attack twice, so we might even be able to attack to the north if we want. I'm going to go back to the graphic view, and you can see that that enemy is losing major amounts of strength. We're also really close to the enemy HQ right here, so we want to keep that going for sure. And one thing we don't want to do is accidentally move the generals too close to the battle. Now, of course, we want them near us, but we don't want them on the front line with us, because then they're going to get destroyed by the Soviets, or at the very least, we're risking losing generals, and that's not going to help. Generals in this game are extremely important, and obviously it's going to piss off the high command a lot if we start losing generals left and right, understandably so. So here we go. Let's hit that tank division. First, I want to see if this guy can move forward. Oh yeah, very good. So if we will attack here, always like to get rid of these Soviet tanks first thing. It's not like the Soviet tanks are that formidable this early on. I mean, the Soviets did not expect to be attacked. They expected to be attacked eventually by the Germans, but not so soon. So if we can really just start destroying any sort of hopes they have at holding out, that's going to really help us. So I'm going to go ahead and attack Bialystok. I believe this is Bialystok. Once again, do another concentric attack. This time we're only sending in 2 units, so it's a little risky, but I trust that these men can get the job done. And it looks like we had to retreat on that one. We didn't lose too much, but getting into losses like that this early on in the campaign is not something I would recommend, obviously. Let's go ahead and move these guys forward. We've also got the SS Viking division, probably one of my favorite divisions. These guys are vicious in battle, and you don't want to face them. They are just mean bastards. So we're going to go ahead and use the Viking division here to attack the enemy. We'll send in the Vikings and or the Vikings. Actually, I think the W in German is pronounced as a V, so it would be the Viking division. And we're going to go ahead and attack. We still got some tanks too, so hopefully we get this guy to retreat. Beautiful. Because I definitely want to take one of these. I just said tank. I want to take one of these tanks, get behind the enemy lines. And we're not actually cutting off any rail lines, but we're trapping the enemy slowly but surely, sort of just grinding them down little by little. I think that's really the key here. So once again, take the Viking, and this time we'll take some of our tanks as well, and we will attack. 87th Infantry is going to be in some trouble here. And as you can see, pretty understandable. They're going to move down there, try and save their skins, but we're going to move forward with the motorized division and the rest of these guys and just put the hurting on the Soviets and also try to destroy some of these units. It might take a few turns to destroy them, but look how much attack power we have. That's incredible. Attack. There we go. We panicked one of them. He's almost completely broken. And I think if we keep this up, we could probably break them entirely. Unfortunately, these guys have moved way too much, so they're not going to be able to move much more. But I think we can still get one more attack out of some of these particular armies. And yes, we can. So we're going to go ahead, send in 3 armies. The 16th Motorized Infantry Division, the 44th Infantry Division. All of these guys are very well stocked with ammunition, etc. And there we go. We've broken our first Soviet army. So there we go. Those guys are completely destroyed. 4,800 dead. I've seen worse, but still, breaking a Soviet army, it's no easy feat, no matter how worn down they are, and so we should pat ourselves on the back for that. But I do want to close these guys in. So we might not be able to attack this turn because we'd be putting ourselves in a pretty dangerous position, but at least we're forcing those guys to sort of huddle together, and that's going to make it a lot easier to take them out. When they're all bunched up, it makes it a lot easier to beat them. Of course, they're going to be fighting harder than usual, but I think we can handle this. Let's attack. And there we go. 2 Soviet infantry divisions, both retreating. Our men are standing still, doing a great job. Let's go for the cavalry division. I know cavalry, but to be honest with you, the Germans also had cavalry divisions, not to mention even at the beginning of the war, I was going to say towards the end of the war, but even at the beginning of the war, the Germans used a lot of cavalry to move around equipment, especially on the Eastern Front. Trucks aren't always available, and you'll soon realize that our relationships with certain generals might even affect how many trucks we get for certain operations. So we got to keep that in mind too. I'm going to keep these Slovakians back here for security purposes. I'll bring one of them forward, but it's good to have guys behind just in case partisans pop up. We'll be able to deal with them. So let's select our attackers. Okay. Full out. And even the Soviet tanks run in fear of our men. And I think we can actually go ahead and take Przemysl. It's now under our control, the 24th Infantry's control, I should say. Move these guys forward, just basically closing that gap a little bit more. And we can also attack with our Romanians now. Remember, we formed a pact with Romania, so we're actually free to start attacking, although this gets kind of complicated. The one good thing about the Romanian front is there's so many hills here that it's very hard for the enemy to fight back or to do any counterattacks. The bad part is the Romanians are not the greatest fighters. I hate to say that. We're actually going to send in exclusively Romanian fighters, maybe one infantry division, a German infantry division for this fight. Nah, we'll send in another because our stat can actually be quite high. But we'll see how the Romanians handle themselves. So this is actually a Romanian tank division. They did manage to make the Soviets retreat. That's definitely some good news because a lot of times they're not able to. And let's see if we can get another attack here. We might have to wait till next turn. Nope, looks like the Romanian tank is ready for another go. Good job. Maybe you are worth something, yeah. And they did manage to get the enemy to retreat, really getting few losses, only 600. As you could see, yeah, a Romanian infantry unit, well, the Romanian infantry lost 200, pretty nasty, and 800 retreated. Why did you guys retreat? There was no need to do that, but that's what happens when you're fighting with inferior nations. Okay, here we go. That's the Soviet Motorized Division. We're going to send in our Romanians. I like to use them as cannon fodder. I know that sounds terrible, but that's their best use as cannon fodder, and then bring up the Germans later to destroy what remains of the Soviets. So there we go. We'll also go ahead and hit this tank division. Now, once again, we're not attacking with our general, and this attack may actually not go so well. So actually, I'm not going to attack there. I think that would be a bad idea, very bad idea. They will lose. So one thing we will do is move these guys forward. Also, a lot of these Romanian units, like this one, for instance, is a border guard unit. They're not exactly made for really major incursions. They're made for protecting the border. You know, they don't have really serious weapons, so we got to be very careful using them. Now here, I think these Romanians could possibly do some damage to this one Soviet division. We'll be finding out, and yeah, we got them to retreat, so you know what, pat on the back for those guys. I think they did an okay job. And we're definitely not attacking this area, and not without some reinforcements, which we will be getting some of, but that comes later in the game. Now I'm going to start trying to attack this motorized division. I think we already hit them enough times, but you can never be too sure. And yes, I'm confident that 2 German divisions here can actually do a lot of damage, although there are a lot of Soviets here, and they did manage. They didn't make us retreat, but it was a pretty even battle. 600 dead on our side, 400 dead on the enemy side. Although, as you can see over here, we also killed 1,200 enemy cavalry, so that actually worked out really well for us. Have you guys been attacked yet? We must make sure we are fair with everyone and attack everyone equally. And I also want to take Lvov. That's a major city. Damn, they actually held out pretty well there. One of them retreated, but another one held his ground. And that's a sign of things to come for sure. Okay, I think we've done everything we can over here, guys. Ah, they still have some panzers. So we're going to move this panzer up. Move the Viking division up as well. Actually, the Viking division is going to have to stay here, but with the Panzer division, if he can attack, I think he's got one attack left. I'm definitely going to try to roll over that Soviet infantry. Not bad, and they have retreated, meine Freunde. Alright, I like it. See what we can do here. No, these guys have already fought. we're going to actually force them over here where the generals are. That's exactly what we want. So let's grab this stack. And eventually we'll be hitting this area right here. For now, though, we'll keep it to cavalry mainly. We always have time to come back and attack Bialystok later. And yeah, it looks like we've already made our attack here. Just want to make absolutely sure. Yeah. With some of these tank divisions, we could probably start moving them forward and start using them to cut off Kaunas. But I don't want to be too crazy with them. So we'll do it this once. But in general, you know, I wouldn't recommend this necessarily. Yes, it's Barbarossa, and that's the general idea, is to try to do lightning strikes against the enemy. But you've also got to be careful. You can't just be crazy and foolhardy. But I think we're going to be just fine. Let's attack. There we go. Enemy is retreating. Danke. Alright, let's see if our division's here. I think we already attacked with these guys, but we still have, no, we still have a few. Nice. Attack. And we almost destroyed that enemy division. Now, they did not retreat. Looks like they're very strong here. Not very strong, but stronger than their compatriots in the center. And with this SS division, I will go ahead and try to hit this enemy infantry division. We're mostly going to be using our Totenkopf to get behind enemy lines, though. Maybe even go to Liepaja as an example to further mess with the Soviet supplies. So for now, we're just going to attack wherever we can, whenever we can, and try to decimate the enemy's armed forces. Look at that. We can get up to 400 for a stack. You better bet we're going to go for that attack. And look, they're panicking, and we destroyed an enemy unit. That was unbelievable. 20,000 dead. That's what I'm talking about. 20,000 dead. We only lost 400 men. So we definitely want to start moving forward with our men. Get over here on the border, because we don't need counterattacks. That's one thing that upsets me greatly, is when counterattacks happen this early on in the battle. So, or in the war, I should say. So let's go ahead. Try to get 2 more attackers here. I believe in you, men. I believe you can do this. And actually, they did a great job. Got the enemy to retreat, making our job just a little bit easier, one step at a time. Okay, go ahead, boys. Go for it. And enemy is retreating. They actually retreated pretty quickly there. Smart idea on their parts. Just making sure that we've moved all of our units forward. And I think we already forced this guy to retreat. But we might still have some attackers here. Why not? And there's actually a Russian general there, so that's going to be great. Getting the Russian generals to get farther and farther from their men is obviously a very helpful thing. Lowers supply and makes our jobs a lot easier. And what's this? The SGE. What in the world is that? Ah, siege artillery. Alright. Danke. I could use that. Now this is Fortress Brest. I hope some of you know the story of Fortress Brest. But essentially it held out for a very long time against the German attack. And it was quite an amazing, I must admit, it was quite an amazing fight. The Soviets did incredibly well. And I think even at the end, even the Germans were pretty impressed with the fighting capabilities. Although I'm sure that they probably ended up killing most of the prisoners, if there were any prisoners, that is to say. Okay, guys, we're about to end this turn, so don't forget, if you like this game, if you like watching this, make sure to let me know in the comments. Make sure to let me know by hitting that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. Share the video around. I'm pretty sure that that YouTube is not going to be allowing us to monetize this video. I'm almost positive. So if you want to do some donations to assist the channel, feel free to donate to agrippaMaxentius@gmail.com, which is my PayPal account, and it really helps out. We also have a Finnish front here, but I'm not going to do too much on the Finnish front initially. I guess we can start moving some troops over the border, but I want to be very careful here. I guess we'll bring some guys over just to hold the border. Otherwise, we want to be very careful, but we'll let the Finns start moving into enemy territory, why not? And then we'll take a look at these Decisionen that we have to make to please the High Command. Alright, here we go. Got a few Germans here as well. So let's take a look at the decisions. So theater allocations, an opportunity has arisen to tweak theater fuel allocations. Currently, Army Group Center has the largest share, but this reflects the fact that FM Bach has 2 Panzergruppen under his command. We are currently configured for a fair and balanced approach through all 3 theaters, so we'll make a decision. I'm actually going to favor Army Group Center. So I think that center is very, very important. And it looks like Rundstedt, of course, is unimpressed. He's pissed off because we just took some essential manpower from him. But von Bock is pleased. So this is how you sort of create these relationships. Now this guy's asking for a security division, basically mopping up partisans. So we're going to go ahead and we will leave on mop-up detail for a week, and then we'll deal with the security issue. Von Lieb is unimpressed, but we're only losing 2 with him, so I'm not too concerned. Now here we go. Initial estimates: over 2,000 enemy planes destroyed, most on the ground, at the cost of approximately 40 of our own planes. Fragmentation bomblets used against runways were found to on occasion explode prematurely, and this accounted for about half our losses. Basically, our planes blew themselves up, so we could actually cancel the air offensive, which would order the Luftwaffe to switch to supporting the troops on the ground, and I think we need to do that. It's going to piss off Göring, but then again, yeah, I don't want to risk pissing him off, so I'm going to maintain the offensive for 4 more days. Why not? And hopefully we get some luck with Göring. In fact, we'll take a look here at our relationships and see how everybody feels about us. Right now, it's really too hard to say. Obviously, General Gerke, who brings in supplies on trains, likes us, and that's good. That means we're going to be getting supplies on time most of the time. Hitler likes us as well, probably because we agreed with his war plans, even though, quite frankly, I don't actually agree with his war plans. I think he's a madman, but nonetheless, it is what it is. Okay, guys, so that's simple. We're going to go ahead and end the turn and hope for the best. See what the enemy does here. Yes, I want to end my turn. Alright, I think most of the enemy, what they're going to be doing is basically falling back, regrouping, making new defensive lines. It's really not much else they can do. So we'll see how it goes, and hopefully everything works out for us. Let's see what the world will do. And here we go. Yep, moving back just as I thought. A few of them might try to strengthen the lines near Lvov, but for the most part, they're going to be reallocating troops and getting off that front line if they know what's good for them. If not, it's just going to make it easier for us to cut them off, cut them up into little bits, really cutting the army up into little bits, basically trapping them in pockets and just destroying them. So yeah, I can see why they're going to pull back. That would be the correct thing to do. Although on that Romanian front, I wouldn't necessarily have pulled back. Nonetheless, I think they're probably making the right decisions here. And of course, if you want to see another episode of this particular game, you've got to let me know in the comments, and I will make it happen. You can realize, though, these are long episodes because this is a long game. So if you guys want to see that, make sure to support this video big time, guys. Get away from niemand, das mine. Let Wien as well. Okay, there we go, guys. Our game is in progress. In the sector of Aegean, the enemy is falling back behind the Dvina River. Strong wedged-in enemy elements are causing our infantry divisions a lot of trouble, even far behind the front. We've got to be careful. We also didn't use any of the command focus cards, which will allow us to get some extra artillery, things like this. And the Wolf insists that we have been assigned the special duty of assassinating Stalin. We're to be parachuted onto the roof of the Kremlin in order to shoot everybody in sight. Sven says that sounds very exciting, but I'm wondering what is supposed to happen after we've killed him. You're supposed to be killed yourself. Wouldn't that be interesting, though, if Stalin gets killed during this Let's Play? I think it would. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and we shall be back with more, and hopefully a victory. Danke.